Welcome to The Thriving Entrepreneur, where high performance and business strategy blend almost as perfectly as crepes and Nutella. Grab your headphones and your favorite flavored latte and tune in weekly as we talk about business, personal development, marketing, mindset, and everything in between. And now, your host, high performance coach, business strategist, and chocolate addict, Yasemin Inal.
Hey Thrivers, welcome to another episode of The Thriving Entrepreneur. So happy to be here with you guys, and I am honored to introduce today's guest. Our guest today is an author, speaker, and social media entrepreneur, Calvin Wayman. In spring 2015, he quit his day job to pursue his dream of working for himself and went selling door to door. Yeah, literally. He's a man on a mission. He owns Cobb's Media, a social media management agency designed for entrepreneurs to stand out beyond 97% of everyone else on social media. He's been featured on Entrepreneur Magazine, Social Media Examiner, The Huffington Post, and was even named one of the top 30 entrepreneurs under 30. Whoa, that is amazing. By influencive.com. He just barely released his first book, which debuted on the Amazon Top 100 of all books in the success category. His book is called Fish Out of Water. So good to see you. So good to connect with you.
Yeah.
So, our meeting is kind of like, it was just, I saw you launching your book. I kind of caught that on social media, and I love supporting people who have just done something amazing like that, whether it's releasing a podcast or, putting yourself out there in a big, bold way. So I wanted to honor that. And I connected with you and said, hey, let's do this. Let's have you on the Thriving Entrepreneur Show. And you gladly accepted it. So thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. You mentioned you're honored me being here. I'm super honored that you even asked. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, just take us all the way back. I mean, did you always have this idea of working for yourself? Did you always say, I'm going to become an entrepreneur or an author or any of that stuff?
Yeah, I would say I did. It was always there. And it wasn't just like the positive side of I want to be an entrepreneur. There was also like the negative side of, I didn't want to work for somebody else. I've done that. And I did that. And just the idea of not doing what my heart and soul called for was just kind of painful. And as I did an employee job for several years, that became more and more apparent. And so, I did that. And then I've always wanted to write a book, especially, something I don't talk about too much is I didn't read my first ever real book or business book till I was 22 because I just couldn't read physically. And then when I was 22, I discovered audiobooks. And then
awesome.
Yes. And then I just started reading like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, The Power of Habits.
Love it. You're mentioning all of my favorite books, by the way. Those are like all the, top books out there. So. They
had big impact on me. And so reading those is what pushed me into this thing that kind of increased my belief. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And number two, someday I want to write a book and contribute back to what books have given me. So
I love that. That. Isn't that amazing? Like what a wonderful journey. I mean, that's the beauty of personal growth, personal development in general. Like once you dive into it, it's first of all, you discover like it's such an ocean, right? There's so much out there. You can never know it all.
Yeah.
And it's also such a beautiful journey because you just constantly want to become the best version of yourself.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Like, it's been fun, like bumping into family members because I'm like 40 pounds lighter than I was like about a year ago.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
And so it's impacting all areas of my life, not just in my business and on my entrepreneur journey, but even in my health too. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You're a high performer in the true sense because, I'm a high performance coach. So in high performance, we tackle all the areas of your life. When we talk about, let's say one of the pillars is clarity. So we talk about all the areas of your life, like whether it's your health or your finances, what is it that you truly want to achieve in that particular area? And if you're only excelling in one area, like you're an amazing entrepreneur, you're a billionaire, but
Yeah.
you don't eat well and you just like live
You're not
off
going
of
to enjoy
junk
yourself.
food. Exactly. I mean, it's not going to be long lasting, right?
Right.
So you
Yeah,
might
and
enjoy
that's
yourself temporarily, or you think you're enjoying, but in the
yeah,
long
you're touching on something that's cord with me, and Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it all the time, and it's being in it for the long game, right?
run.
You don't want to just do the fun things now. You want it to last and have legacy and have patience, so it's going to be there for the long term. And so that's what it's all
Yeah.
about. That's why health is such a big thing. Is I don't want it just to be awesome right now. I want it to be awesome when I'm 65, 85, 95,
That's
105.
awesome. So you can
Yeah.
actually keep doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I love it. I
Exactly.
love it. So take us back to when you decided, like, okay, when you knew for sure that entrepreneurship was for you.
Like when I quit my day job.
So you quit without any kind of a like, oh, I need to save this much or I need to
Yep.
be making. Okay. So tell us
Yes.
about that because that's a big leap.
Yeah. So
That's a huge leap. For those
yeah.
of you guys, I mean, I want to kind of like make a, shout out to all of those who are still 9-to-5ers, which there is nothing wrong with that. But if you're still holding on to it until you start making, because I teach business strategy as well. I have
Mhm.
clients who tell me, Yasemin, I want to be making at least 10,000 a month before I quit my 9-to-5. And I'm like,
Yep.
seriously,
Yep.
like, I
Yep.
didn't do that,
Yeah.
So tell us
And
about that.
well, I'll be honest, I had awesome plans like that. I wanted to be comfortable in making 10,000 or even 5,000 before I quit.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I got to a point where I was like, man, if I just could make $2,500 or $3,000 residually, then I'll quit
Mm-hmm.
my job. But what it did is it kept me frozen and it kept me stuck from doing what I really wanted to do. And what really made me take the leap, people talk about like, well, first of all, what keeps you stuck? Fear,
Mm.
right?
Of course.
I had so many fears, and the fear that I had kept me there for at least 2 years longer than like when I made the decision, this is not my long-term plan. I want to do my own thing. But fear kept me there.
Mhm.
And when people talk about how to overcome that fear, a lot of times they're talking about having a very big purpose or a big why or
Mhm.
something positive. But I'll be honest, it actually wasn't all the positive thinking and all of
Mm.
the powerful purpose and why that got me to finally quit. It
So
was
what was it?
actually a bigger fear. It was a bigger fear that swallowed these smaller fears that I had that made me actually just move forward. And what it was is I knew I had this fire that was burning, and I had these things like, man, I just want to do something. I don't want to wake up 10 years from now and I'm still at the same job. But
Mm.
what was worse than even having the fear of waking up and being at the same job was I had this thought that scared the hell out of me. And it was this: what if I woke up 10 years later and the fire wasn't there anymore?
Ah,
What if I felt okay settling?
yeah, like
What if,
complacent about it, right?
yeah, what if I tricked myself? Like, this makes the hair stand on my neck saying this and
Ah,
makes me
goodness, I
almost
have
want to,
goosebumps right now.
it makes me almost cry because I remember that feeling and
Mm.
and wondering like, there's so much that I know or I feel like that I'm meant to give, and what if I just let it die? And because I didn't take action on it, I not only am in the same place, but I'm okay with being in that same place.
Mm.
And it's now, that flame is now just smoke and it's just dead. Like, the thought of that dying is what was like, I am not going to let that happen. I like that was fear. Like, I was like, I do
Mm.
not want this to die. And so,
Yeah.
and so, uh, after that, after I had that moment, I had this interesting moment where I had this fear, where I had like a conversation with my 10-year-old self. I just like sat back and like
Mm.
projected myself 10 years in the future, and was like, what should I do here? And it was obvious that the best next step was to quit. And so,
Mhm.
because
then
of that
find
fear.
a way, right? I mean, because when you are somehow in a very challenging situation, you always find a way.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I've come to learn. And so, coming to that realization, having that big fear swallow all the smaller fears of what if I don't make it? What if I look
Mm-hmm.
like a loser? What if I look like a failure? What if my family doesn't love me? What if my wife and my 1-year-old end up living on the streets? All of those fears,
Sure.
that big fear of what if the fire dies swallowed them. So I just quit. 2 days
Mhm.
later, I quit my job. And you mentioned at the beginning of this, I did not have all this other stuff planned yet.
Mm.
But what I've come to realize, and I hope people get this that are watching this or listening to this, life is a lot that way. We want to know all the steps
Mm.
from A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, right?
Yeah.
And if we don't know all the steps, we don't want to move.
Hmm.
And that was me. I didn't know all the steps, so I was trying to figure it out before I actually went from A to B. But here's the key that I've come to learn. Entrepreneurship and life does not have all 26 letters laid out. There's actually only 3 letters in entrepreneurship, not 26. There's A, there's B, and there's Z. I'll explain what those mean. A is where you are now. B is your next step or your next best guess. And Z is where you want to end up. People know their why. They want to know where they know where they want to end up.
Mm.
But everything between B and Z, largely unknown.
Yeah.
You can't plan it. It's almost like you can't plan a chess game, right? Or to win it, you can strategize a chess game, but there's these unknown variables that make it hard to go step by step. And I think life and entrepreneurship is like that. And so we try to plan it and it keeps us stuck. But the reality is, and it's a freeing thing to understand, that you can't plan it because things change. So see where you are, know where you want to go, and trust that just take that next step. You'll always know what that next step is. And that's the game, I think.
I love it. I love it. It just reminds me of the quote, like just leap, right? I'm kind of paraphrasing, like leap and then figure it out on your way down. Like,
Right.
Don't worry about, do I know how to open the parachute? Like, just figure it out on your way down, because that's how
Here's another thing too. Another thing that's on the same line, that the analogy I like to use is a GPS analogy. Can you imagine how overwhelmed we would feel if we were traveling somewhere and we punch it in our GPS where we want to go, and it told us all of the things and all the turns that we were going to have to make on this journey?
Oh, yeah.
Go left here, and you're trying to remember all of the different turns.
It would be horrible.
You would be like,
from New York to California or something, right?
You'd be like, I don't think I can do this. This is too hard. There's no way I can do this.
Yeah.
But what does the GPS really do? You put in where you want to go. It says, this is your next step. Now that you've done this, turn here, go here, right? And I think that's what
take a rest if you have to, right? You don't have to go to New York, from New York to Cali in one shot. You can actually take a rest sometimes.
Yeah, and enjoy the view and the journey along the way.
Route or something.
Exactly. And I think that's what that people need to understand is it's more like that. You don't need to know. You don't want to even know all the stuff because it could be overwhelming. So I think just getting in and figuring out what the next best step is what's going to get you there the furthest with the least amount of stress possible.
I love that. Okay, so now I want you to tell us what the next step was for you, because we know you quit your job and you were married by that time, correct?
Yes, I was married, had a 1-year-old son.
You had a 1-year-old at the time?
Yes.
Okay, so
he's now almost 3.
Okay. All right. So tell us what that felt like, because I'm sure as a man, that must have felt like probably you were scared as heck, and just all of that responsibility on you, correct? And what was your next step, and how did you keep it together?
Well, I'll be honest. When I quit my job, it felt amazing.
I bet.
And then the next day happened, and I felt like the amazing feeling went away fast. And so, there's this deep sinking feeling. Okay, I quit. That felt good. That was the right thing. Now what the heck do I do? And I'll be honest, I went through a lot of ups and downs, roller coasters, and even anxiety freak out moments, because I was like, what if I don't make it? What if I don't make enough money to support us? And so what I ended up doing is I ended up looking around to find what my next thing was going to be. And the first thing I did is I looked at a bunch of different network marketing companies, because network marketing is something I did alongside of my employee job.
Okay.
And like a couple months before I quit my job, the network marketing company I was in actually went bankrupt, unfortunately.
Ah, okay.
And so all that income went away. And so I looked at network marketing companies first, and I had one caveat. And the one caveat was, if this is the industry I'm going to stay with, whatever I do next is going to be my thing. It's going to feel like that I'm 100% like bought into this, not 99%. And I would not do anything out of fear. And I mean fear, like I would not join it because it has the best comp plan. Now, why is that fear? Because I didn't want to have the fear of, oh, I better do this because I don't want to miss out on the money or miss out on the best opportunity. It needs to be that I'm so 100%. It feels like it's just a part of me.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I looked around, met with some amazing leaders that are still my friends. And a lot of the things were great, but they were like 97% great, and that 3% that it was not my own thing is enough. That's like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. And so I'm battling that with, I got to make money too. But I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to go into this next thing, that's going to be my own thing. And it got complicated because I didn't find my thing. And so it got to the point where I was like, you know what? While I don't know what my thing is, and I'm so frustrated that I'm 27 and don't even know what my purpose is, I'm so jealous over those people that say they've known their purpose since they were 5 and they just kept going for it. Help me find it, universe. What is it? But what I did is I said, while I'm looking, I'm going to improve my skills and do something that will help me when I find it. Yeah. And so I moved from Utah to Southern California to do door-to-door sales.
Wow.
Because number one, I got to be my own boss. I had nobody that could tell me what to do. So I had that freedom. That's what I was looking for.
Sure.
And I also wanted to, let me turn that off. And I also wanted to do something that pushed me. And I had a lot of coaches and mentors that have told me in the past that if you can do door to door, then what could you not do? And so I did that. And that was one of the most frightening things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Was door-to-door sales.
Yeah, because it's like kind of, it's unknown, right? Again, it's that unknown territory that you're stepping into.
Yeah. Yesterday when I did an interview yesterday with John Lee Dumas on EO Fire, and
that's
he
amazing.
brought me to my darkest moment. He says, what's your darkest life as story as an entrepreneur? And it was something that it was doing door to door. It was a day, the moment was doing door to door. Like it was the toughest thing that I remember when I was in it. I was like, I would not wish this on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Because it was so emotionally challenging. With all that said, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Of course.
Because it helped me a lot. I did it for a year, and it's just been super, super useful. And so kind of fast forward through my journey while doing door to door, I then started finding out what it is I wanted to do. I first got into sales training because that's what I did for 5 years and thought that was my thing. Sure. And by taking action on that, I found out this isn't my passion. And then I got into this new thing called Periscope, a live streaming app.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome, this feels better. This is something I want to do. And then I realized, well, I love Periscope because it's new, it's cutting edge, and that's what I like. That's what's filling my soul. I like things that are new on the front end that are always changing. What is more like that than social media, right? So social media is always changing. There's always new stuff going on. And so by taking action and doing different things, I fell into that. And so at the beginning of this year, January, I started Cobb's Media, which is a social media management company for entrepreneurs. And yeah, this whole year, just been grinding it since then.
That's
been
awesome.
Honored to be featured on some things, and it's just about getting up every day and taking a new step.
I love that. I love that. Congratulations. Like really, I honor you. I mean, I honor you for just not getting caught up in that fear of outcome and fear of failure and, just not knowing what's going on out there and still just, waking up every day and doing what you had to do. Love that.
That's what it is, because the fear was there a lot of the times, and it was just right there, just nagging. And it's just like,
and it never really goes away. Like, it doesn't matter how successful you are. Even Oprah has those fears.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Even the most successful person that you might think, for everyone, it's someone different, obviously, but they have those fears.
That's been a huge realization that's given me confidence, actually, is hanging out with amazing people and realizing how human they are.
Yeah.
When I started this journey, I thought something's got to be wrong with me, because I thought I was an entrepreneur, and I'm having way more fears and anxieties and hitting these mental blocks that surely these people that are where I want to be.
They must not be having those.
Right. So something must be wrong with me. And so I think that's something that's very important for people to know, especially people getting started, is you're not weird. You're not, there's nothing wrong with you when you feel that when you hit that wall. You're just doing something you've never done before. You're out of your element. You're like a fish out of water, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why you feel the way that you do.
Well, this is a great transition, because you just mentioned the title of your book, and I want you to take us into that. So what made you decide to write a book? I mean, you explained a little bit, saying, you've read some really, really great books. So that kind of inspired you, and you wanted to be able to leave your own legacy, share your own voice and your message with the masses, right?
Yes.
But what was that tipping point for you where you said, okay, I'm writing a book? And how was that process?
Have you ever heard of Caleb Maddox?
Yeah, absolutely.
14-year-old kid?
The 14-year-old, yeah.
He was my tipping point.
Okay.
So in January, when I was sitting down writing my New Year's resolutions, is when I discovered Caleb. And I always knew I was going to write a book, but I'm 28, and I was like, well, it's probably going to be when I'm 35, 45, 55, when I have
more knowledge.
When I have more knowledge, when I'm more qualified to share a book and to have the audacity to say, here's a book. Then I've come on to this guy named Caleb Maddox. For those of you guys that don't know, he has a 6-figure business, speaks on stages with Gary Vaynerchuk, has been interviewed by Grant Cardone, has his own book that he wrote 2 years ago. And like Yasemin just said, he's 14.
Yeah, so he was 12, basically.
He was 12. Yep, he was 12. And when I saw that a 12-year-old wrote a book, I was like,
oh, snap.
Calvin, dude, I looked in the mirror, I was like, your excuses just got murdered. Caleb just totally obliterated any excuse to wait. And so this someday goal just became real. I was like, if I'm going to do it someday, let's just do it now. Let's just do it this year.
Yeah.
And so I just made a goal for 2016 that I was going to have the book done this year. And an interesting exercise I did to kind of push me into action for my New Year's resolution goals is I pretended I only had 6 months.
Love that.
That I had half of the year, and that by July, the goals had to be done. And so I put the due date, July 14th, because that's my wife's birthday.
That's awesome.
And it's about the middle of the year, but I actually had it out July 1st. So pretty much
that is amazing.
6 months in.
So you started January, and tell us a little bit about the process, because
interestingly,
I want to know. There might be people out there who want to write a book, right?
Yeah, this for those of you that are out there writing it, I want to help demystify it and give you confidence on how uncomplicated it can be. I actually just wrote like less than 1 page in February just so I could say I got started, right? But
less than 1 page. Okay, like
yes.
1 paragraph?
Yeah, seriously, just to say I got started.
Kind of reminds me of like my college students back in the day when I was teaching English, where I would say, okay, guys, start. And I would tell them starting is the hardest part. Like once you start your freaking essay, it goes, you know?
Yeah, and so that's why I did it, to just push it out there. But I'll be honest, my book took me about a month and a half, start to end. From the beginning to really putting focus on it to the time it was published and on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and wherever the book is sold.
I love it.
It took about a month and a half. I got deep into it in May, so about mid-May and through May.
Because you're like, June is coming, right?
Yeah, July 1st is when I wanted to have it done. And so in fact, I had some awesome people that gave me that confidence. I had people that said, "Oh, I wrote my book in a weekend." And I
Yeah.
was like, "How the heck did you do that?" And they're like, "I cut off all distractions, had my significant other bring me in my food and everything, and I just stayed in my office and got it done." And I was like, "Awesome." So in some ways, I felt like it was taking me too long a lot of the time, because I was like,
Yeah.
it was so easy to get distracted. But
It depends on the book too, though. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if you're writing, let's say maybe fiction, which yours
yeah,
I know is more of a nonfiction, right?
nonfiction, right?
It could take longer because sometimes you need to
100%.
process that. You know, you need to
100%.
process. Yeah.
And speaking of processing and organizing, just to give like a tangible tip,
Yeah.
uh, something that helped me so much with organizing my thoughts and getting it out there. Let's see if I have it here. For people that are on video, I'm holding up Post-it notes. Uh, Post-it notes was the thing that made the snowball go down the hill, because literally what I did is, after starting to write, and I did the writing thing, I did the dictation, just recording it and then trying to
Yeah.
edit it. And I kept like walking all over myself and didn't really get it going. And what helped the most is when I got Post-it notes and I just put a single idea on a Post-it note and then stuck it to my wall.
I love doing that. My entire wall here is like, I have that. That's
yeah, it freaking worked. And so what ended up happening is my entire wall was covered in Post-it notes, because any idea that was a main idea, I put it there, and now it was all out of me.
Yeah.
And then after it was out of me, I could look at it and like, okay, is there any other idea? And then I would see a Post-it note like, oh, that's another idea, and put it up there. But then when it was all there, I was like, here's my book. And then it was just all about organizing it.
Putting it together.
Yeah, and that is what really helped me so much, because when I started, I thought I had 7 course concepts. And by doing that process, I found out it was really just 3. It was just 3 concepts and several concepts were related, and it just came to a point and made it super, super organized. I would not have figured that out if I did not just get it all out and then put it together afterwards.
Yeah.
So that was very useful for me.
Your book recently arrived. I bought it, so I can't wait to dive into it. Yeah,
I appreciate the support.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. So for those of you who are listening, make sure you go to Amazon.com and check out Calvin's book, Fish
I actually
Out
created
of
a
Water.
good link. I created a link for you guys. It's just
Awesome.
calvinwayman.com/book. So you can grab it there, calvinwayman.com/book.
Love it. Love it. That's great. Thank you so much. And yeah, please guys, let's support Calvin, because it takes a lot of guts to write a book. You know, it's definitely a big thing. And like I said, for me, that's huge. Like, I think it's so important for everyone, all the entrepreneurs, to support one another when we see someone doing something like this. So I want to ask you a question. This is something I ask all of my guests. Okay. What does the word thriving mean to you?
Thriving to me, I don't know if this is going to sound cliche, but it's doing exactly what your soul wants to do, like what it feels like you're called to do, and doing what you want, where you want, with who you want.
I love it.
When I'm in that space where I'm like, this is something that I want to do, and it doesn't matter if you were paying me or not paying me, or it's just something that is filling up my soul, then that is what thriving is to me.
I love that. I love that. Can you think of one specific moment where you really felt like literally on top of the world, kind of thriving?
You know what? There's something I've been talking about lately, and it's a feeling of flow. Like when I was writing my book, it actually happened only twice. And where I felt like I am so like connected with myself and so in flow. I always hear people talk about in flow. There was a couple moments when I was writing my book that literally everything around me disappeared. And the coolest thing is I thought I was 9 years old. Like that sounds so weird, but the reason I think it was 9 is I think I felt that feeling like another time when I was 9, like even just being so immersed in a computer game that I'm just so present with it. And
that you don't even hear your mom like calling you or something, right?
Yeah. And that was probably the biggest moment where this is thriving, because I'm so in flow and it just feels so good. And I remember having to shake and do a take. I'm like, holy crap, where am I? How old am I? Like I literally felt like that I was 9 years old doing something that I just absolutely loved, and was like giving my inner child a little bit of like attention and letting it do what it's always wanted to do. So
That's
that's the
beautiful.
moment for me. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. And I think, like it doesn't sound like a cliche, by the way, at all, because I think it's just such a beautiful feeling to be able to, be in that flow, right? Be it, like totally be present with what you're doing, whatever you might be doing in your business, and not see it as work, because that's what happens. If it's your life's work, it's not just busy work, like busy work. To me, busy work would be like when I was a professor, right? To me, I loved being in the classroom. I loved being in front of the students, because for me, it was the stage. I have a musical theater background, so I love being on stage, right?
Yeah.
I thrive there because of that connection with the audience. I mean, you saw me at Amplify event, right? So I just love being able to see people's faces light up, and or they might be feeling, like they might cry or something. Just being able to have that human touch is powerful to me. But what I hated the most when I was teaching was the grading, or creating that entire syllabus or whatever. Like that kind of busy work didn't light up my soul. Like I was always thinking, like, I wish someone else could do that, because I can totally run the show in the classroom, but I just don't like that paperwork, which of course I had to do. Yeah. So
I think that's what I'm not there yet in a lot. I mean, I'm there in a lot of ways, and my whole life's not that way. And that's what I'm getting to. That's why I love entrepreneurship, is it gives you that freedom to design that. I just hired my first employee, going to be hired.
That's awesome. What is he going to do for you, or she?
She is, well, for my social media management, she's basically a graphic designer. And so she is helping design and create the pieces of content for my clients in their voice and everything. And what it's allowing me to do is do the things that I love to do, which is like putting stuff together and orchestrate. And I love getting on stage and stuff like that. That's why I love podcasts. And so it's allowing me to do less of the stuff I don't like and more of the stuff that fills me up. So that's why I love entrepreneurship.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I do. Like, I love doing the podcast. I love doing the interviews, connecting with other entrepreneurs. It literally, like, after this call, I'm going to be like completely energized, because I feel your energy, right? So it just, it lights up my soul. But the editing of it, no, someone else does that for me. So
that makes sense.
That's something I don't want to focus on. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I just love it. I mean, I could literally talk to you for like the whole day till my next interview. But just tell us, Calvin, I know you have a special, like a surprise or gift for our listeners today, or viewers.
Yeah.
Share that link.
So something I just barely did. Yeah. I'm giving what I call a social media makeover completely for free. So you can go to socialmediamakeover.org. It's a $300 value. And what that is me or somebody on my team is going to get on the phone with you and give you strategies and tips for your social media. We'll dive in, we'll look at your profile page, whatever we need to do. And we'll give you tips that will help you stand out beyond 97% of everybody else on social media. Now, of course, if there's like thousands of people that watch this or something, we can't do it for everybody.
Sure.
But
it's a limited offer.
Yes.
Right?
So if you go to that link, socialmediamakeover.org, and there's still spots available, then fill it in, and I'd love to help as many people as we can.
Love it. Love it. And of course, your book link again, could you say that one more time?
Yes. calvinwayman.com/book.
Thank you so much, Calvin, for your time, for sharing your gifts, and just for being here.
Yasemin, it's been a pleasure, and I hope to catch you at some other point in the real world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Thrivers, thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next episode, live on purpose, focus on what truly matters, and keep thriving.
Thank you for tuning in. Join our Facebook group by typing The Thriving Entrepreneur in the search box, and connect with Yasemin at yasmininal.com. That's YASEMININAL.com. Till next time, keep thriving.